Hello, everybody. It's Dusty Sage with MiceChat.com, and I am here with Samantha Davis-Friedman, one of our frequent contributors on MiceChat, and she was telling me the other day, the one thing I will never do for you is one of your live videos.
That's
and
right.
So today, I've got her all mic'd up, and I'm making her do a video. So while we take you through the park and show you all the insanity today, there's some fun new stuff. There's a new hotel tower, there's some construction we need to show you, there's some sort of disaster happening on the rivers of America that we're gonna show you. The whole river's been shut down all day because of something. We're gonna get to the bottom of it by the end of this video, and we're going to show you the new construction at Tiana's Bayou Adventure, on the Adventureland Treehouse, and there are ToonTown troubles that we need to get to the bottom of, so we're gonna head over there in just a second. But first, I'm gonna show you what's right behind us. So I'm turning this around, you'll see my big finger. And here we are, we're in Morrowland, the Morrowest of all the Morrowlands. And we're going to walk right through this park and see why we're here in Tomorrowland at the start of our video, walking around this big ball of messiness. And you can see that the top of Space Mountain is scaffolded, and it looks like roller coaster track,
Yeah.
but it isn't. It's just scaffolding.
Or soaring over Space Mountain.
Soaring over Space Mountain. And there's lots of scrims up. You see the purple scrims up over Starcade, along the entire upper patio of Space Mountain, and then up there on the side, back where Rocket Rod's maintenance bay used to be. So they're doing a lot of work here at Space Mountain. I'm going to zoom a little bit, give you all a better view of the whole area. There's another little bit of construction going on right here. We've been chatting about while we were waiting to do the video, because one of Samantha's favorite things in the world is Disney Vacation Club.
I'm a fan.
They are a big fan. And they are doing some renovations to the flying saucer. So very exciting.
They're bringing it into the modern age.
We spare no expense in bringing these videos to you. I don't know what's going on. Look, they're clearly doing construction on it. Pieces are missing, but the light is still on. Like they didn't even turn the thing off while they're doing construction on it. Yeah. They didn't build a light switch in when they built it.
Yeah, exactly.
We're renovating our flying saucer. But don't fret, folks, if you had it in your heart to visit the DVC guide, they're still here.
Yeah. They'll find you.
They will find you, and when they find you, they're going to make you buy an ownership interest.
They're going to find you with a pen and a
DVC.
contract. Yeah.
And here's where they have
Here
them.
they are.
Earlier there was a guy there. I think he just abandoned his post because nobody talks to him. It's really kind of cheesy, like when they have the stuff for Vacation Club or the credit cards in the parks. It's kind of cheap.
I think these guys see a lot of pin trading action, I've noticed, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. We'll head down this way and we'll do the pretty path to ToonTown. And once we go to ToonTown, we're going to see a lot of ugliness because there are troubles.
With a capital T.
That's right. And that stands for Toon.
That's right.
While we're walking by,
I feel
we'll
like
look
we've had construction walls in ToonTown up more than we have had them down.
For sure, and it's a brand new land. They opened part of it in January, at the very end of January. They opened Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and that area over by Roger Rabbit, but Roger Rabbit didn't officially open or reopen until the entire land opened. I think it was March.
Yeah,
and
it was March.
Since then, it's just been a litany of woe. The grasses bubbled up and caved in, and they had to redo that in all three of the grassy knolls.
Yes, and they are making a very concerted effort to make it accessible to everyone and make all the ground very level and smooth so that everybody of every age and ability can get through the land smoothly. So I feel like that might be some of the adjustments that are being made, is they're trying to fix some of that.
Yep. Well, they have to fix it now because it's a legal issue for them if somebody trips and falls.
For
so
sure.
while we're walking over there, why don't we tell everybody what we were doing yesterday? And yesterday, if you watched the live video that we did last night, which is up on our YouTube channel right now, you'll know that Mike and I had a room at the brand new Disney Vacation Club Tower at the Disneyland Hotel. It's officially called the Discovery Tower.
Yes.
So they have a Fantasy Tower, an Adventure Tower, and a Frontier Tower.
And they decided not to name the fourth tower out after a land because it encompasses the entire history of Disney animation. So they felt that Discovery was a better name for the tower.
There you go. And you also had a room last night at the new tower.
I did.
So I'm going to have you tell us first. What did you think of the new tower?
I think it's really beautiful, and they did an excellent job, in my opinion, of keeping the feel of the Disneyland Hotel and the nostalgia and the mid-century modern design, but bringing it into the current park goers' needs. It's beautiful, it's elegant, it's modern, but at the same time, you still feel like you're at the Disneyland Hotel. They didn't try to reinvent the wheel, which was a good decision in my opinion. They also paid homage to every genre and period of Disney animation, from Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Princess and the Frog, Fantasia, there's Moana, there's Frozen. All those different movies are represented in the various room categories beautifully through the artwork and the decor. And it's just a really lovely hotel. I think they did a great job.
I do too. It doesn't feel like the rest of the Disneyland Hotel to me.
No.
In fact, it feels like a standalone hotel within a hotel, like you sometimes see in Las Vegas, where Mandalay Bay has a hotel, and then there's like a fancy Four Seasons inside, and it's treated like a whole separate hotel. That's what this feels like to me, because it has its own private pool, splash pad for kids that's shaped like Steamboat Willie, and has a giant hot tub, and will have its own bar and lounge area once it's done. But the rooms are stunning.
They are.
We were in a deluxe studio. It has a waterfall shower. It just was a lovely room with a lighted back headboard.
Yep.
It had some incredible amenities, a lot of beautiful artwork. Really enjoyed it. Our room was Sleeping Beauty themed.
So was mine.
So all the deluxe studios, I think, are.
I think so too.
And then there's also a smaller than a regular studio. They call it the Duo Studio. It is barely big enough for one person, but you can cram a second person in there if you don't mind ruining your relationship with them.
They say two adults and an infant.
And an infant.
Is how they're billing that.
But only a small infant.
Yeah, an infant, not a child.
If you have a big infant, like you have a 5-pounder or a 6 or 8-pounder, too big.
There's like a room for a pack and play, but not like a full-size
two
twin
small adults and a watermelon. That's all you can bring with you.
That's it. And a cat.
But the real sweet spot for that hotel are the stunning 1 and 2 bedroom units.
Yeah, spectacular.
Which have full-sized living rooms with kitchens.
Yeah, washer and dryer.
And then a separate bedroom. The 2 bedroom, of course, has the 2 bedrooms. And in the 2 bedrooms, which are Fantasia themed, which is stunning, beautiful, you have 3, I think 2.5 baths. There's a half bath off the main room,
Correct.
And then each bedroom has its own bathroom. And then
it's a full kitchen. It's not a kitchenette. There's a full-size stove, a full-size fridge, full-size dishwasher, a washer and a dryer. I mean, you could easily
if
live
you're
there.
going to be in town for a while with a family
Yes.
and you don't want to pay Disneyland prices for breakfast every day, you could easily go to the grocery store. Target is down the street, pick up some cereal and eggs, and make your own breakfasts. Toast a bagel in the room and save yourself, $90 to $100 for breakfast for a family of 4.
For sure.
And that's what the real advantage of those rooms are. So they're Disney Vacation Club rooms, which means you really need to be a Disney Vacation Club member to rent it, except Disney does have the ability for you to pay cash.
Yeah, you can.
But the cash price is crazy.
Well, you can book it when you go onto the Disneyland website and look at all the hotel options. The DVC rooms are listed as an option. It's basically equivalent to a suite at the Disneyland hotel prices So it, maybe like $100 more a night. I was checking some random dates and ahead of down the line in February, and not the holidays.
So
or
what would a
anything.
studio cost? Do you
It was
remember?
like around. I think it was the studio was like $400 a night, and the duo was like $400, and the one we had was maybe $600 a night. But it was comparable to the Disneyland hotel room rates for that same week.
And then the one bedrooms are probably around 1,000 or more.
Like $1,200,
Yeah.
which again, very within $100 of the regular Disneyland hotel prices for that same category of room. So the difference is the availability. So obviously DVC members get priority, and the other people who want to just book them either through a travel agent or on their own get kind of what's left in the inventory. So if you're really looking to rent one of those, obviously a low popularity season would be the best choice, because if you're looking at the holidays or summer vacation.
Pardon me? The churros.
But anyway, popular times, the DVC members will probably grab them all up.
Yep. Paulo's Adventure said, when I'm on vacation, I don't like to cook. And I get that, but what I learned with my DVC bookings, I'm a longtime DVC member. When I'm in Florida and I have a one bedroom that has the kitchen, I do go ahead and buy cereal, coffee creamer, and those kinds of things. And it just makes things easier. I can sleep in as late as I want, get a quick snack before I head out the door, and then just do lunch and dinner in the parks. And
I'm
it
sure
does
there are
make it all
people that
easier.
cook, a full meal if that's their style of travel.
So here we are in ToonTown, folks, and you'll see the happiest place in
Construction
this
land.
back corner of the park. And it is construction land. So this giant wall is back up. It reminds me of before the land fully opened, when it was just Mickey and Minnie's Railway open and then this giant wall. The rest of the land is open back there, but it doesn't look like it, right? And look at how it just jams people together here. People like to just stop in tight walkways. That's what people do. And that's why Disney needs to build big wide open spaces, because wherever there's a tight walkway, it bunches up. Adventureland's a good example of that. Now we're going to take you and show you why this is like this. As we walk by, let's keep an eye on the wait time for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I see a lot of people standing out front. It's closed.
It's closed down.
Broken. People are waiting out front, hoping that it reopens. I think this attraction and Rise of the Resistance, the two newest rides in the park, always down.
Always.
And it's very frustrating for people who pay extra for that extra cost Lightning Lane or Lightning Lane extra selection, whatever. Why they don't have a name for it that isn't Lightning Lane.
Individual
Lightning Lane. I
As
call it
opposed to
extra
the
cost Lightning Lane, just to be clear.
As opposed to the regular Lightning Lane.
Right. It's so silly. They had Fast Pass before. They should have kept calling the regular version, the Genie version, they should have just called it Fast Pass.
Yeah.
And then they should have called the extra cost ones Lightning Lanes.
Yeah, that would have made more sense.
Yeah, it was a different product.
Darren Roberts just sent a sticker on YouTube.
Well, Darren, thank you very, very much for your support. We appreciate it. It is very sweet. I am hobbling through this. One of the reasons Sam is here is in case. Boing, boing, boing. Boing, boing, boing. I blew my knee out somehow, my left knee, so we're going a little slower than normal today. I don't know what happened or even how it happened, but I woke up one morning earlier last week and my knee was swollen in black and blue and I couldn't walk. But I've somehow managed to make it through the park. I feel every step. So just in case I have to bow out at some point, we have Samantha. Now here we are, the backside of construction. We're going to show you what's going on in ToonTown Park there. Gotta be careful. Lots of kids running, and when kids run...
Goofy's having a big party.
That's right. Okay, here we go. They're putting brick down. Now, was there brick there before, or was it concrete?
No, there was not brick before.
So I think this brick is to add slip protection because there was so much water spilling out.
Yeah.
Let's try to zoom in there. There we go.
The entire fountain's ripped out as well.
And then there was
At the bottom part.
Still there.
So
It's
you can
hard
see
to
the
tell.
bottom of the fountain is ripped out, so all of the decorative elements like the frog and the turtle and all of that. Judgmental frog, you know him?
Yes.
Judgmental
I know
frog
him
is
well.
gone. The fish with no eyes is gone.
I'm
all
too
the
short
clams.
to
and things.
see. Are the
Poor-
roots gone?
Poor Sam.
But-
I have to show you all what's going on over here. Sam is jumping up on on the curb
Like-
because she's too short.
I
Too
couldn't
short
tell
to
if
see.
the wishing tree roots were gone, but Mike says they're gone too.
Oh, are they? They pulled them all out? No,
roots?
they're there. The
Oh,
roots
they're
are
there.
The roots are still there.
Okay.
But the
turf
base
is gone.
around the bottom of the tree, that square where the tree
Turf,
is planted,
yes.
that has all been pulled out. Now this is the second time they've redone that
Yeah.
because they already cut this area off once, and now it's the second time. So completely redoing the fountain. Hopefully when it comes back, it will work.
Yes.
And it was supposed to have a number of different programmed segments for each of the songs that they play in the area. And then at night,
Yes,
it was
it's a-
supposed to be a beautiful, spectacular
Kiss
light show.
Goodnight, yes.
And I remember the Imagineers telling me the day that this opened officially, come back tonight and look at the fountain show.
Yes.
But it never happened, and it has never happened
No.
since the land opened.
And
So
it
I'm
was
looking
billed
forward.
as little kids who can't stay up for the fireworks, they can have a special light show for themselves at a more kid-friendly hour. But I guess they haven't
didn't
gotten that
happen.
together yet.
Yeah.
Natalie says third time's a charm.
Third time's the charm. Well, we will see, because
Yeah.
knowing Disney, there could be a fourth or fifth or even sixth time.
You're from your mouth to Mickey's ears now. Like.
So there's lots to show you. It's not the only construction in this land. There are many, many broken elements. Look how many people are here.
So busy today.
I don't remember ToonTown ever being popular.
No, never.
And ever since this redo, it's always popular. So they did something right. So please don't think we're just complaining. Well, we are complaining, but we're not just complaining because we recognize they did something right here. It's resonating with people.
Yes.
Do you see Scarecrow Goofy there?
Yeah, very nice.
He's one of the lone holdouts
Yes,
from the
they were
original
left
version
over.
of the land. But one of the many broken things here, this pathway, see the circle there, and then there's this little rock just short enough to trip over for
Yeah.
kids that are running. There used to be a birdhouse there, and you could look into the birdhouse and see the little bird family.
Oh, yeah.
It never worked, and they pulled it out. Who knows if it'll ever come back?
And now it's just a trip hazard.
Andrew's asking if the fountain's supposed to be spilling as much water as
No.
Probably not, yeah.
Andrew's right. You know, the fountain was not supposed
Not
to
in
be spilling as
California
much
during
water
the
as it
drought, I would
was.
hope not.
It's one of the reasons they're sort of redoing it.
And what's
Now here's
happening
another
here?
trip hazard.
Yeah.
So there used to be two seesaws here. First they put trash cans there, and then they just filled them in with this black stuff. It looks like bark, but it's not.
Like
But
rubber.
it is a trip hazard because there's a lip here, and
Yeah, it's uneven.
yeah, you can see there, like my shoe goes under it. So if a kid is running through here, they're going to launch themselves or fall flat on
Into
their
the
face.
fence,
And
yeah.
thankfully it's squishy ground, but not enough to keep you from breaking your nose. So this is another green wall of construction. So you see half of Donald's boat, the other half is the splash pad, and it has never opened.
No.
So we're almost a year late from what it was originally supposed to have opened. I don't know what's going on. Why does it take so long to install a splash pad? Public
Yeah.
parks build them all the time, and they do it in like 3 weeks.
Somebody was saying at one point that there was some plumbing concerns, or it was leaking underneath or something.
I'm sure it has to be something major like that,
Like
or it
they
would have
didn't,
opened.
I guess maybe they thought the prior plumbing would be enough and it wasn't, or something.
And we're told that there is also, here's the another park area. Lots of people using it.
Yeah.
Look how many people are using this park. And yes, Mike is showing us there's another little trip hazard area there. One of our staff members also alerted us to the fact that people have been tripping in the parks again. So I think one by one, they're going to have to redo all of the parks for another time. Each one has had some downtime since the land opened, each one. And they're all going to have to be redone
Just
again.
maybe can't handle this much traffic on a daily basis.
It is, but I think they're probably going to have to put a more solid base underneath,
Yeah.
so it doesn't collapse.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. It looks like it's really the edge where the turf meets the concrete
Yep.
that it seems like it's lifting a little bit, and that might be a matter of tacking it down differently.
Now here's where I wish they had a skyway. There needs to be a skyway that you get into back here in ToonTown. that takes you to the front of the park,
Yeah,
or
there
at
you
least near the front.
Yep.
Because I feel like we're back in the middle of nowhere.
Well, I guess you could hop on the train.
This is the only land at Disneyland now that's a cul-de-sac. It used to be that Critter Country was
Yeah.
Bear Country before that. And that was one of the many reasons why the Country Bear Jamboree just didn't make it back there, is because it was hidden. It wasn't worth going all the way back there for one ride. Now, it's very crowded here, but one of the reasons it's crowded is people are just trapped here. Not easy to flow in and out, so they just stay and they wait for Runaway Railway, and then they ride Roger Rabbit, and the line for Roger Rabbit is frequently now the longest line in the park.
Yeah.
So there are many times where Roger Rabbit has a longer wait than Rise of the Resistance, if you can imagine, but it's true.
Natalie's asking about the weather today.
It's beautiful.
It's nice today.
It was a little warmer earlier, but not hot, just warm. And then by the time we started the live, there was a lovely breeze.
Yeah.
And by the time we're done with the live, expect it to be about 68 or 69 degrees. It's about 72 when we started.
I was gonna say, nice,
Yeah.
a nice cloud cover today.
You can see the clouds. We could get a little sprinkle this evening. Tomorrow, all day long, chance of sprinkles.
Oh. Ooh.
I don't mind a sprinkle. Mike was just saying he loves the rain. That's our Mike Kindrich right there, everybody.
Chance of bubbles, looks like.
Yeah. There's a 100% chance of bubbles in the air. I don't know if you all can see that, but we're walking into a non-ending stream of bubbles.
We're trailing a bubble wand.
Yes. And every time somebody says, I don't believe in bubbles, a bubble vendor drops dead.
That's right. Yeah.
You know how to bring them back?
Yeah.
I do believe in bubbles. I do believe in bubbles. I do believe in bubbles.
Hey, clap your hands if you believe. Today during the parade, when Elsa made it snow, or Snope, as the case may be, Kristoff was remarking how quickly the weather changes at Disneyland.
Yes. Suddenly it snopes. Let it snope. Let it snope.
Oh, there's another one.
Yep.
Must have been a sale on bubble wands today.
If you buy a bubble wand, you are a dope. Let it snow. Let it snow. Just another expensive trope.
Oh, look at you.
See? I can do it. I can go for like 12 seconds before I lose
You
my
can do this all day.
We did notice something. I was entering the park during the Magic Happens parade, which is about to not happen anymore.
So sad.
They're going to close that parade middle of next month. And then there will be no parades at all until the
Christmas Fantasy
Christmas
Parade.
Fantasy. I always want to call it the Very Merry Christmas Parade, but that's at Walt Disney
No,
World.
Christmas Fantasy Parade.
Christmas Fantasy.
The world's oldest parade.
Yes. Yeah, we were doing the song earlier, and it's trapped in my head now.
That's right.
But while we were watching Magic Happens, one of the floats, the one for Tiana, was being pulled by a tractor.
I noticed that too.
It was broken. So
And there
hopefully
was no big, the big puppet behind the Coco float was missing today.
that,
And
yes,
I noticed that. too.
Alejibre.
Yeah, Alejibre.
But hopefully they can make those fixes while the parade is down. It's not that old of a parade. It was only used for like 2 weeks before the pandemic, and then
then
it
back
was
in
in storage
January?
until they
January?
brought it back.
Was it?
Kim is asking, speaking of doing this all day, any rumor of what's going to replace Rogers the Musical, since we're talking about entertainment?
We're not entirely sure what's going to replace Rogers the Musical. They do have a casting notice up right now. They're casting for singing roles related to Turning Red.
Oh, that's right. I noticed
So,
that too.
The father and the mother, all of those need to be able
And
to
all
sing
the
and dance.
Four-Town guys too.
And the Four Town, right.
I
That's
saw
the
that.
band that she wants to go see, and her mother says no, I think, and then she turns into a big red panda.
That's right.
So
As one does.
it could be that, or nothing. And we are tracking the very likely redevelopment of Monsters Inc. and that whole area in the Hollywood Pictures backlot area. with Stage 17, which has been now vacated by the Marvel Superstore, possibly even Mickey's Filler Magic, and definitely the old Hollywood and Dine building. Those are 3 gigantic, 4 if you count Mickey's Filler Magic, gigantic buildings. But if you include the Hyperion Theater, now that is a major land. You could put easily an Avatar land back there with 2 or 3 gigantic attractions.
That's true.
So we think that's what's happening back there. So we're not sure, is the Hyperion going to be part of the redevelopment or not? We'll find out pretty soon, because I do think they're going to be starting or making some announcements very soon.
Yeah.
But they were in a hurry to close that Superstore. They opened that new tiny store in Avengers Campus, or itty bitty really.
Yeah.
And that same day closed the Superstore, which is huge.
That is huge. And they used to use that stage for a lot of events, media events. At one point at Oogie Boogie Bash, there was a treat trail in there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been a multi-purpose space for a while. There's also that building where they used to have the Captain Marvel jet, like back there too.
That's the old Hollywood and Dine building.
Yeah, so there's a lot of space in that
every
area.
once in a while, when they have the cheerleaders take over the whole resort, it's a horrible time to visit, by the way, folks. Like, congratulations, cheerleaders. However, these little girls have a lot of energy, and they're very loud, and they like to do their chants and stuff while they're in the park.
And there's a lot of them.
And there's a lot of them. They say if you see one cheerleader, there are thousands hiding in your walls. But they'll use the Hollywood and Dine building for their practice sometimes. But I think they're trying to phase out the use of that building because, again, they really want to redevelop that whole back area of DCA.
Well,
and that would be great.
Avengers Campus expansion has to go someplace too.
The new Avengers ride is actually going behind the Avengers HQ building. And there's a huge expansion pad for it there. So there is the space for that already, and it's directly behind where the shop is now. So the shop will stay, and they'll dump you into that shop when you exit the attraction. That's right. I don't think Disney invented exit through the gift shop, but they definitely made it in ours.
Yeah, they perfected it for sure.
Universal does a good job with that. Remember back in the olden days when they still had their Transformers attraction? Remember how wonderful that theater show?
Yep.
Not Transformers. What was it? Gosh.
Terminator?
Terminator. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I knew it started with a T.
It took me a second. Sorry.
But you'd go into that show, and it was a wonderful show with some, I think at the time, some of the largest animatronics that had ever been built. And then you exited down a ramp directly into the gift shop. Now, nobody is going to buy merchandise themed to a projection show like that, except they did, because they exit you into the gift shop so they can show you things.
Yeah.
And then you impulse buy it. So it does make sense. There's the train going by. We're headed into Galaxy's Edge. Have you ever noticed this before, Sam? From a distance, you see the WED there for Wilderness Expeditions and Delivery. So obviously WED, an homage to Walter Elias Disney and the early WED, which is now Imagineering. But also from a distance, it looks like Knott's Berry Farms logo with the Knott's K.
The K, yeah.
Because they bought this wagon from Knott's. Knott's had an auction some years ago before Galaxy's Edge opened, and they sold off a lot of old historic pieces. Shame on Knott's.
That's a fun fact.
And Disney snapped up a few things for use in their parks.
You learn something new every day.
Every day. Some days I wake up and I have nothing in my head at all, and I have to go looking for facts to fill my brain back up.
What is Alice in Wonderland saying, that something about you think of 10 impossible, a certain number of possible things each day or something?
Yes. Just the 10?
Or whatever. I don't think it's 10, but there was someone will know what she said.
Almost everything that I know is some useless fact.
A certain number of impossible things per day she thinks about. So someone will know the number. I just can't remember it off the top of my head.
When I started doing these videos, I'm always talking about things. I've learned a lot over the years. And one of our viewers wrote, "I love your useless facts."
Cocktail party conversation.
So now
it's
that's
a very
what I call
important
them,
thing.
my useless facts.
That's right.
We're going to exit out this way because we're just passing through Galaxy's Edge. We were talking earlier about how ToonTown is a cul-de-sac, and it used to be that Critter Country was a cul-de-sac, but no more, because now you can pass through Galaxy's Edge to get out of Critter Country, and it has increased the traffic to that side of the park dramatically. Of course, right now there's no real reason to go back there because Splash Mountain is closed, but Winnie the Pooh is still there.
There's Winnie the Pooh.
Hungry Bear Restaurant, which is one of my favorite places to eat with a large group of people. So hard to find seating now at Disneyland Resort. You were just in the wonderful new San Francisco, and
and the seating
the lack
is
of seats.
a huge challenge over there. Well, I like the Hungry Bear seating too because if you go up on the upper level and you go down to the corner, you have a really nice view of the river.
Beautiful up there.
And it's nice and quiet. And
now there's shade covering, so used to be you were sitting out in the sun, so nobody wanted to go there, but they put shade in, and now it's such a great place to sit. I wish they could do that. Oh, here's the new character from Ahsoka. There she is.
I've been trying to find her for all day.
That was amazing! You like that? They're gonna push you back and forth, back and forth. Excuse us.
We're stopping here for a second just to look at this, folks. Sam was looking for her all day because she was trying to get some video. So Sam's over here taking video, Mike's taking photos, and you guys are live, so. That R2-D2-ish robot's kind of cute. I don't know anything about him.
His name's Chopper, I just heard her say.
And off they go. It was a neat little drive-by.
Yeah, she's
Debbie,
hard to find.
There aren't a lot
she's pretty
of
new.
robots out in Galaxy's Edge. These are remote controlled, so there's actually a cast member controlling Chopper there with this character. They did have R2-D2 out periodically for some time. I haven't seen him in a while, but they have had him out. So they have done that. What they don't have are the autonomous droids that the land was supposed to open with. And all of these pathways that you see below us here, particularly on this pathway, so one of the reasons why this pathway is so large, it's embedded with wires underneath the concrete, and that would let the robots know where they were, and the droids were supposed to just wander around in this land.
Here comes Chewie.
Yeah, here comes Chewie, another character. Now that Bob Chapek is gone, we can have more characters in the parks. Chewie is a celebrity here in Galaxy's Edge because he's one of the few characters that people know.
That is true.
Even though there's that character that we just stopped to see from that Disney Plus show, Ahsoka, I don't know what her name is. Ahsoka. A lot of people don't have Disney Plus or don't watch those shows, and so they wouldn't know who that character is. Still need to see the character in the land, so I'm glad they did it.
Yes, I'm glad they did
the characters people know primarily are the ones from the big Star Wars films, and they don't have a lot of those characters in the park.
No, we really have Chewie and Rey always seem to draw the biggest crowd. The Mandalorian lately is pretty popular too.
Yep. Of course, little baby Yoda,
Yes.
Grogu, the child.
The cutest.
He's my favorite. He's an animatronic, and one of the best animatronics Disney has ever had.
Yeah.
He looks real.
He does.
He has facial expressions, and he's incredible.
And in Galaxy's Edge, well, pretty much everywhere in Disneyland, unlike Walt Disney World, the characters are fairly free range.
Free range
So you
characters.
never-
That's the
yeah.
safest way to eat them.
That's right. And you just never know who you're going to come upon, which is kind of part of the magic of Disneyland.
Grogu eats free range frogs
And blue macarons.
and blue macarons. Pretty. The sky is so dramatic. This is one of those days that you just want to stop and enjoy the weather and the scenery because everything is perfect right now. This is the reason I moved to California.
That's the reason I never left California.
Sam grew up in the shadow of Hollywood. She has some of the most fantastic stories to tell. So
Yeah.
we're going to force her to do this more often. She's like, oh no, I'm never coming to the park again on a Friday because I don't want you to rope me into this.
That's what I said. I'm going to hold you to it. There's a reason I'm a writer.
A-wing over there. Sam wrote a fantastic article for us last week about the upcoming Adventureland treehouse, and she compared it to the Swiss Family Robinson treehouse of yore at Disneyland, and that still exists at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, it was really nice to be able to go through that treehouse in Orlando and remember what it used to be like here and look forward to what it's going to be like.
And you
when they reopen.
compared the old rooms to the new rooms.
Yes.
And I thought that was very interesting because really it's going to be a whole new experience. But it looks on the outside a lot like the Swiss Family Robinson original treehouse.
Yeah, there's only so much they can change as far as the structure of the attraction, but they managed to continually refresh it with the new storyline. So even though they're kind of going backwards, they're also looking forward.
You could be a Disney publicist with language like that.
I've been around them and left. It's a reimagination, as I said.
Jason Trotter says he would love to be near Disneyland, but the lack of shade from all of our stick trees, our palm trees, and lack of real green trees would be hard for him.
That is a valid
I
point.
grew up in Kansas City, and it was, although it can get very, very hot and humid in Kansas, we had trees everywhere, and it rained a lot. And then I moved to California, where every time there was a light misting, cars would slide off the road, and storm watch on television, and people didn't know what was happening. The sky is falling. And all of our trees were just like sticks with a few leaves on top. I didn't know what was going on.
We are fearful of rain, fearful of weather of any kind, really.
Here's that Hungry Bear restaurant we were talking about earlier. We like to sit up there on the patio and look out over the green and glorious river. And I'm going to get you close to the river here in a second, but not too close. I hear river traffic.
It seems like
Queenie's getting ready to go.
Oh,
so they're letting Queenie out there.
Yeah.
They closed all the river stuff today. So earlier today, they suddenly stopped boats to Tom Sawyer's Island and the Columbia. Mark Twain is already under refurbishment, so it wasn't running. And we heard from a couple of cast members that there might have been a spill of some sort of a chemical into the river, so they decided to close the river. However, they've got boats running now, and Queenie's getting ready to go, so they must not be too worried. But the way our team was describing it earlier, it was the river-pocalypse.
it was
A river-pocalypse.
it was very quiet before. No traffic at all.
I can smell the water. I hope it's not making me toxic.
The ducks don't seem to mind it.
Kathleen says she really enjoyed your article.
Thank you very much, Kathleen.
Yeah, the article did really well. Everybody's so excited for that treehouse. And I posted on my Facebook with a link to your article, Sam, basically saying, why am I so excited about this minor addition to Disneyland, this minor return? And there were so many people that commented.
Yeah. It's always nice when we don't lose something here and that
Where something of the past comes back in a way.
Yeah.
So what else could come back from the past? I really think we're going to see the People Mover, or a version of it, return. So something similar to the People Mover, using the People Mover right away.
Yeah.
I know that they would love to do that, and they're trying to work that into the new Tomorrowland. We're going to be showing you some of the changes here. at Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Mike's going to help us out because he's been keeping a close eye. I think better from the other view of the mountain ripped up or not?
For sure.
Okay, we'll keep walking.
Well, I think the fact that the people mover tracks are still there gives everybody a bit of hope that it's not gone forever. It's taken a while, but
Yep, that's one thing I do think will come back. And it would make sense if they can plus it up in some way, make it fit a more modern technology and
it's
ADA requirements, etc.
Yeah.
But what about Skyway? Do you think we could ever get something like that back?
I would like to see it back. Again, the people mover and the new Skyway at Walt Disney World are both so popular, and I'm hoping that that will remind them that it's worth bringing back here too.
All right, so we stepped up onto the steps that usually are open, but we can't get back there right now because there's construction on the Mark Twain. Look, they have it scaffolded even so that we can't see what they're doing.
Yep.
That probably means they've removed railings and things and they don't want people to freak out. Because certain websites would take that picture and say, they're deconstructing the historic Mark Twain.
I can see it from here, and that's exactly what it is.
All right, we're zoomed all the way in. We're scary close now, too. Don't let the mountain fall on you, folks, but you can see at the top, you can see the inner structure of the mountain. That's because they've removed all the rock work. So look through the scaffolds there at the top, above the lift hill on your left, and you'll see actual beams. And that is the superstructure or the interior structure of the mountain. And then once they're done, they'll have new rock work up there. So,
And we'll get that water tower and the crown. Just
water
like
tower
they
will
got
be over
in
here on the
Florida
side.
soon,
And
I
then
hope.
the top is sort of going to be rounded off because it's now a salt mine.
So it has to be on the top.
Yeah, so the beauty of a Louisiana salt dome.
Yeah.
And I know as a child, I remember telling my mother, gosh, you know what I wish they had at Disneyland? Salt dome ride.
Salt dome, yeah.
And if there's some way we could go
Dreams
and search,
really do come true.
They do, in New Orleans.
Yeah.
But if
Bayou.
there's some way that
Bayou
we could
Magic.
help Tiana find a missing ingredient, that would make the ride perfect.
Right? She needs our help.
If only we could go into a salt mine to find a missing ingredient. But once we get into the salt mine, we find out it's not really a salt mine, it's a bayou filled with singing critters and fireflies.
It's a bayou adventure,
It all
to be
makes
exact.
It's a bayou adventure.
It's not just any bayou.
And I would like to also congratulate Tiana's employees because they're now all employee owners.
That's right. Dreams really do come true in the bayou.
Now,
Keep saying.
Disneyland's employees are not employee owners.
And this is a very confusing sign on this because it's not talking about the ride at all.
No. And it's talking about something that leads everyone to believe
And it says
that.
Southern Dome Salt Company.
Yeah, Southern Dome Salt Company and Tiana's Foods, employee owned, coming soon.
But nothing about
So
the
everyone
ride itself.
thinks that this is actually going to be a restaurant,
Yeah, it looks like it would be a restaurant.
but it's not going to be a restaurant. You know what else is coming though that I think is smart, and I know there are a lot of people that are a little concerned, but in this area that we're at right now, and just to show you where we are, that is Haunted Mansion. There's the exit to Haunted Mansion in the middle. This is the little cart that sells Haunted Mansion goods, and over here is the original Fast Pass distribution for Splash Mountain before they moved it. So there's a lot of space here. They're going to bump it way out almost to where we're standing. This is going to be a shop for the Haunted Mansion.
And that's going to be Leota's shop.
Leota's shop at
In
the
the carriage
exit of
house.
the mansion.
Yep.
And a couple of reasons for it. They're going to build an elevator adjacent to the exit. So let's look at the exit here. So there's the exit, and adjacent to it, so they'll be loading where those crypts are down when you exit the ride.
Yeah.
Will be kind of off to the side, and to hide the elevator, they're building a shop in front. So you would be able to roll through in that area, go down on an elevator, and enter the ride from there, which will keep the elevators from backing up when they have to
Right,
bring
and
people
it
up
also
and down.
keeps the, as they say, the show intact
Yeah.
because now anyone who's using a wheelchair has to come back up
That's right.
in the stretching room elevator, which obviously is not really great for the storyline at all.
Yeah, not just that, but then they can't be taking other guusts.
Right,
And
we
they
have to
clear
wait.
the lobby so that the wheelchairs can go through. And it's not a great experience for the disabled guests either.
No.
So it all feels very, slapped together.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks, I'm just taking you back across to see the rest of What's left of the Mark Twain is just a giant beige tarp.
That's right.
So somewhere behind that beige tarp is the remains of a giant ship that will look exactly like you remember it when it comes out of refurbishment.
Yes, exactly. Let's hope.
Long lines for the Lightning Lane to get onto Haunted Mansion Holiday. This remains the most popular thing at Disneyland this time of year. Every year they bring it back. I really want them to do a version of the Haunted Mansion themed around the Muppets Haunted Mansion. But I have a feeling if that happens, it'll happen at Walt Disney World.
I think so too. I don't think they're going to mess with success, as they say. And
At
this
the
one,
last of-
fairly early this morning, the return times were already 7 and 8 o'clock tonight.
Wow. 60-minute wait right now. Later, as the sun goes down, the line gets longer.
So yeah.
But over here, where you see they have these switchback lines that go into the park over here, we call this park Magnolia Park. This is all going to be extended queue for the Haunted Mansion. So this side of the garden is going to be pushed out to here. In the back there's some new greenhouses that they're going to set up, some new tombs and things. It's possible we may see some Museum of the Weird type stuff in here.
Yeah,
but if we,
they're saying it's going to be like the mansion's gardens.
that's right.
Themed to different areas.
I'm thrilled because this is a really inefficient use of space, and that will allow them, if they get rid of this fountain in the garden, they'll be able to, on this side, so you see that side of the garden is overflow queue. This side of the garden they're not using, but it will be used by Tiana's Palace. So Tiana's Palace ahead of us, they're going to have some additional seating. They're going to open up the back side of that stage. You'll be able to enjoy music and things in an expanded seating area, which is important.
Yeah.
Because the line for Tiana's Palace starts first thing in the morning and never lets up all day long.
And that's another thing. First thing in the morning, all the mobile order return times are gone. So popular.
Goodness, I'm trying to.
Earlier today, we saw Tiana out here greeting her guests who were waiting in the queue, which was very nice of her.
That is nice of her. She's thoughtful.
She is.
We saw Tiana with Jack Sparrow and Red the other day. They were all interacting with each other. So in Galaxy's Edge, characters that come from different timelines and things are not allowed to interact with each other.
Oh, I heard they were trying to buy her ring or something like that.
Jack was trying to get
steal
Tiana
her
to lend him her ring.
Yeah.
He said he would get it back to her in a fortnight.
Yes, I did see that. Hopefully she didn't fall for that.
She didn't. She's too smart. But Red was trying to help Jack steal the ring from Tiana.
Sure, she's a pirate too.
Those darn pirates. They do have Columbia on the river right now, as you can see, so I don't think they're
it's
putting
running.
guests on it.
No,
but
it doesn't.
not been running.
It's not been running for the last couple of days.
But they are going to have Tiana. And Mike, you were telling me that there's a new version of the show for Queenie?
Yeah, one of the cast members was telling me that they were prepping for a daytime version of the show that was supposed to start today.
Oh.
And I don't know if it actually happened or not, but there was some sort of delay going on where
It looks like they've
it
got
didn't
some
happen
of
when it was supposed to.
some of the fountains and things are up.
Yep. So if there was something wrong with the water in the river, they would not be spraying the water from the river
For sure they
later.
would not.
So
No.
I do question that story. We are headed up and over the bridge. The Adventureland Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. Adventureland Bridge is falling down.
Yesterday, the queue for pirates was switchbacking up,
Isn't that
up
wild?
this whole bridge.
And it's set up like this now because I'm sure at some point today it was.
Yep.
And the line just goes up and down. So like right now, there's no one in the line down below.
It was all filled up here
It's filled on
yesterday.
the inside like it should be. But because the line can surge like that, I think that what you're seeing to the right of the queue area is a bread bowl window there, which has no seating. I think that's going to go away, and you're going to be queuing up into the little shop in New Orleans Square over here, which has
Yeah.
the Haunted Mansion merchandise. So once the Mansion merch moves into the Mansion store, I think
gonna
they'll be
use
able to
that
move
space.
some of the Pirates queue over into the side there,
Yeah.
so they can keep it off of the streets of New Orleans and keep it from being all blocked up all the time.
I think that would be a good adjustment.
Lights are on in the music room.
Oh, yeah.
You can see they've got all the lights on inside, even the black lights in there you can see that are on.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to zoom in for you all. What we're talking about is in there. You can see some lights on, black light in the window. The water wheel from time to time is working. But see that metal staircase in the center of the screen there? That's what tells us they're not quite ready to reopen. So there are still some incomplete staircases.
And people were asked about accessibility on the treehouse and whether there would be an elevator or not. As far as we know, there would be no access for wheelchairs above the ground level.
Yeah, I was able to talk to one of the Imagineers working on the project. There is no accessibility, so it's all stairs once you get up there. But on the right-hand side at the bottom, where the kitchen is, and beyond, Father's Art Studio and the kitchen are going to be accessible. So you'll be able to get up onto the platform there at the base of the tree to see those things.
And they were going to
hear the water's running back there now.
It is.
Oh,
Like,
very nice.
yeah.
Oh, yes, over the waterfall on the right
The waterfall on the
corner.
right-hand side.
Oh, yeah. Let me zoom in.
Where the
Mike is
little-
super, so he can see things that a normal man cannot. See the waterfall going there, folks? Wow,
Very
you're gonna
nice.
get a photo of that?
Yep.
Yeah, he is.
Sure.
So consider yourself first.
Looks like they've added some fresh leaves to the tree.
Yeah, but those are not the original leaves. So the original tree had more tropical style, like rubber tree type leaves.
Yeah.
And some of them were even like orange and reddish colored. And these are a different type of foliage inspired by Tarzan and the Tarzan's treehouse, and they've kept them.
There's like a tag on one of those light fixtures, like price tag, identification tag.
If you want to buy, you just scan the tag while you're in the attraction,
QR code.
and they'll ship one of the light fixtures to your
There
house.
you go. That's service.
The Adventureland Treehouse, inspired by Walt Disney's Swiss Family Robinson. And I'm walking Sam up towards the front of the park because there's somewhere she needs to be at 6 p.m. She's always going somewhere. She's a jet setter.
That's what I've heard.
Should we say hi to the little man at Disneyland real quick?
Hey guys,
Here he is, little man at Disneyland. Little house, little man at Disneyland. Was very worried that they were going to move him from his home when Walt Disney was building the park, so they built him a permanent little home, and he got to go up to Burbank and meet with Walt Disney, who assured him that
His home was
he
safe.
would always have his house.
Indies again closed.
Yeah, Indy is down. Earlier in our video, we saw that Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway was down. Of course, Space Mountain is down for refurbishment.
Thunder Mountain was down most of the day yesterday.
Yeah.
They've had some trouble this week. And not of the
I don't want
ToonTown
to.
variety.
I don't want to say this week because they've been having trouble every week.
Yeah.
It is a big issue. I do think maintenance is having troubles at Disneyland. It's an old park with old attractions,
Yeah.
but that's no excuse in a theme park because with proper maintenance, things can run forever. Think about airplanes. There are airplanes out there that fly for decades, and they just get constantly refurbished with parts swapped out, and theme parks can do that too. Tokyo Disneyland is a wonderful example of that. Ancient park, really.
Yeah,
Many of the
first
same
international
attractions
park.
as here. But when you go there, everything's always freshly painted and working. They still haven't come up with a permanent solution to the missing waterfall here in front of the men's restroom in Adventureland. Remember, for a while there, this whole area was behind walls, but they've since replaced all of the pavement in the area. So this isn't old pavement. It looks like old pavement, but it's all brand new. And then that wooden wall is hiding what used to be the waterfall and keeps you from looking right in at men peeing at the urinals. If you wanted to know, Sam,
Thank you for that.
here's
Thank
Sam's face as we
Thank
talk
you.
about something that makes her very uncomfortable.
you. So that's an important wall. That one
That's
I
an
don't have a
important-
problem with.
That is an important wall. You do not want to see what's on the other side of that wall. There's nothing worth seeing in there.
No, nothing to see here, folks.
Keep moving. Stand back.
This queue is usually
Mystic
nice and
powers,
long.
Hear my call. From
Anybody want a
the
Dole Whip?
winds
Now's the
that
time.
moonlight fall.
No line.
No line.
Oh, yeah, but there's usually a line for people to pick up even. They're waiting.
I have
to
really
serve Dole Whip.
enjoyed this walk because it's been so pretty and the weather's
Yeah,
perfect.
the weather is perfect. The bubble, in spite of the bubbles.
There's more bubbles up
They're
ahead.
everywhere.
There's a little bubble storm going on. Halloween time.
Oh, the Halloween.
Pretty view here. The castle in the distance. Those little speckled clouds, like Bob Ross painted them. Happy little clouds.
That's
Happy
right.
little clouds.
They're beautiful.
Did you hear Bob Ross's first painting from television sold for millions of dollars just
Really?
last week?
That's amazing.
I used to love him as a child.
Yeah, everyone.
Boogie Boogie Balloons.
Getting ready for the fireworks tonight.
Last night there were just projections, so during the week,
that's
just
right.
projections for
It's a
Halloween
projection
screens.
spectacular.
Did you see it last night?
I did.
How
I
is
did.
it as just a projection show? I haven't seen it.
It's good. I mean, Zero still takes flight. The projections on the Matterhorn are still great. It's still a great show.
The music is good.
The music is good. It's certainly better with the fireworks, but it's still worth seeing if you're here during the week.
Main Street's busy.
Very busy as everyone's waiting for the 6:30 parade.
Yesterday was Oogie Boogie Bash. When we checked into the hotel, there were signs up at the front desk that said, there are no tickets available for Oogie Boogie Bash. And the reason they have that sign up is many people get a hotel room because in the past, you had a hotel room, they would try to accommodate you and get you a ticket.
Yeah.
But they just can't because they've oversold the event.
The line
they
to
have-
get into Oogie Boogie Bash yesterday afternoon for the mix-in was stretched all the way across the Esplanade, almost all the way to the Disneyland gates.
Yikes.
Very, very busy.
So this is really sort of it for Halloween for Disneyland. There's Haunted Mansion Holiday, a few little decorations in Frontierland, and then Main Street, which is just the pumpkin parade on the buildings and the bunting. There's not a lot more
And
to
we have
it.
the Mickey Pumpkin, let's not
And we
forget.
have a Mickey pumpkin, and by evening when it looks really pretty, that's one of the longest lines in the park.
Yes. And it's funny because they call that little point where the Mickey Pumpkin is, they call it Christmas Tree Point,
Christmas Tree Point.
even when there's a Mickey Pumpkin.
They should call it Pumpkin Point.
Yes. Or Mickey Point.
Mickey Point.
I still do like the
enjoying
gas lamps on Main
I do
Street.
too. I'm shocked that they still have them.
Yeah, and they never turn off.
Not even after the Phantasmic Dragon burst into
No,
flames
yeah.
and they turned off most of the fire effects at the resort.
Not the
The
gas
flames
lamps.
on Main Street were still burning.
Right.
And they say that as long as there's a flicker on Main Street, Disneyland will never be complete.
Never be complete. That's what I
When
say.
it comes to Imagineering, they can just say anything they want
Yeah,
and attribute it to Walt Disney, and that justifies their changes.
that's right. Well, it certainly didn't hurt them that he said it will never be complete.
That's right.
As long as there's imagination, I think he said.
We did notice that Tilly there in the cinema, she usually gets dressed for Halloween. She has an orange costume, she has a witch's hat, but they didn't
Not this
change her
year?
outfit. No, she's in her Disney 100 outfit.
Oh,
So she's
well.
purple and platinum. How are the windows on Main Street holding up? It looks like Princess and the Frog is lit but not working. Toy Story is broken.
Yeah, Cinderella doesn't seem to be.
They were all fixed a couple weeks ago.
I know,
Cinderella's
she's
working.
moving, but not lit.
She's poorly lit.
Sort
but
of lit.
She is moving.
Yeah,
And then it looks like Peter Pan scene is frozen.
yeah.
Oh, no, it's working. Wendy is barely floating. See, she has a tiny bit of movement.
Oh, yes.
So technically working. See, she tilted. I'm tilting, like the Titanic.
Listing to starboard.
Frozen is working, and it's working in Aladdin.
Oh, yeah.
Only a couple of windows were broken.
There's a newly purchased bubble wand emerging from the shop.
Yeah, sadly, Andrew, some of the windows are still broken. They've redone, of course, these windows, which for the longest time had things for other celebrations, but They're very haunted now. I do like the tarot cards in the window. Fortune
Yeah.
teller obviously lives here. She's got a skull with a candle in its head. If you ever see me robbing a graveyard, it's because I need a skull to use as a candelabra.
I'll keep that in mind.
Thank you.
The bell's missing from the fire station.
Oh, that is a great catch. I never in a million years would have noticed that because I see the bell, but I didn't notice that it was just printed. I'll zoom in.
Technically, there is a bell there.
There is technically a bell, but it's just printed. But kudos to them for doing at least that, right?
And not just empty. Yeah.
Good eye, Mike.
See,
That could have
the
been
tall
like some sort of an
person.
I Spy game, like find the printed bell in Disneyland and then not tell people where it was. I would never find it.
never. I
All
admit, being
aboard.
a short person, I don't always look up like that, so I might miss things like that.
Give me something
And
crazy
these
like a missing
windows.
bell and I'll pick it out. But if I need to find something in the crowd, I just can't.
Here we
do
go,
it.
Queen of Hearts. This time of year, we see villains out and about, oot and a boot.
They are.
Earlier, we saw Jafar, and now we see Evil Queen. Now, they could have done her as a live-action Evil Queen
A
because,
fa-
of
a
course,
face
there was
character.
the live-action Alice.
Yeah,
they couldn't
that's-
get away with that, but they still play her as a masked
Mask.
character, and she's very tall. There's
Yeah.
a very tall man in there somewhere.
She almost looks like she's floating with that big hoop skirt. I had to look for a second if she was like on wheels of some
Yes.
kind.
No doubt, now that we have told you there's a very tall female character with a man inside, somebody will leave a nasty comment.
I hope not.
Yes, Disney indoctrinating your children to want to be a female villain.
That's right.
A lot of kooky people out there right now, folks. Right now they're attacking Knott's Berry Farm.
Oh yeah.
And Disney's breathing a sigh of relief. Let another park take the
Exactly.
brunt of it for a while.
Not today.
So I'm going to thank Miss Samantha Davis-Friedman. Everybody, hands together for Sam. Thank you so much
Thank
for joining us. I know
you.
you hated every minute of this, but I loved having you with us.
Happy to chat with you anytime.
Yes. I'm going to take your microphone, though, with me.
Please do so. Mike will be.
And you're going to go off and have dinner or something. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're going to do a call out to your sister. Thank you for following along. You all didn't even know it, but she was taking pictures for Sam. Sam's writing up a story about something not on Mice Chat.
Maybe, you never know.
Never know where her stuff will end up. I'm taking you all over to the Mickey Floral. Bye, ladies. It was so nice to have Sam with us. We walked her all the way to the front of the park so she wouldn't get abducted. Look at this, pretty as a picture. Doesn't this look like a Thomas Kincaid painting? Love it. It's very busy here at the front of the park. Long line of people. Usually by this time of day, the line to get your picture taken with Mickey is very short. I'm giving the mic to Mike. We're miking Mike.
Oh.
See, look. Mike is mic'd.
I am Mike's.
Just in time for us to end the video, though, Mike.
Yes.
But there's the Mickey Pumpkin, or the Mickey Floral, and all these people waiting in line to have their picture taken with Mr. Mickey. He makes a pretty garden.
He does.
Last year, though, he had a Halloween mask on in his floral. I think they had him like a bandit or something.
Yeah.
And this year, nothing.
Just the normal Mickey.
Yep.
Although he does have the fall colors and the flowers around him.
Yes. Somebody was asking about Gumball Rally. We are going to be making an announcement. It is early February this year, but we haven't signed the contract on the venue because there was a little issue. So until that contract gets signed and we can agree to the terms, I'm afraid to announce the date because I don't want anyone to book hotel and airfare and then have us have to change the date. So that's why we've delayed, but it will be early February for those of you who are asking during the stream. Thank you for joining us, everyone. It has been our pleasure to join you once again for a stroll through Disneyland Park. There's so much more going on at the resort right now. Construction going on in downtown Disney. They're getting ready to build a whole new attraction in Avengers Campus. We think they're going to be redeveloping the Hollywood Pictures backlot area in California Adventure. And the newest thing, of course, is the opening of the Discovery Tower at the Disneyland Hotel, or the villas at the Disneyland Hotel, a DVC property. For all the information, including pictures from our stay last night, and all of the tips you would ever want to know, pictures, video, a lot of stuff from Mike. Thank you, Mr. Mike, for taking all those pictures yesterday. All up right now at the top of micechat.com. So visit micechat.com right now and check out that incredible article about Disney's beautiful new hotel. It really sets a new standard, and I think because of that hotel, they're eventually going to need to redevelop the rest of the 3 towers, and also eventually the hideous Paradise Pier Hotel, which even after its renovation to be the Pixar Place Hotel, will not hold a candle to the gorgeous new villas. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. We really enjoyed this. I hope you did too. See you again real soon.